Officer chases our suspect, 15-year-old, with all the white outfit, down towards 6th Avenue. You saw the video. He turns once, he fires towards our officer. Our officer takes his gun out, but he cannot return fire. There's too many people in his way. As the suspect goes through the cut between the buildings, he's running, he takes his gun out under his armpit. He fires again at our officer. Our officer cannot return fire. He flees into the subway on 46th and 6th. The MTA cameras down there gave us great video of him going on the tracks, then coming off the tracks and fleeing onto the street. The one juvenile we have back since last night, we're still trying to figure out his role in this, and detectives want to get this right. This morning, we apprehended the third piece, a 16-year-old. He's in our custody also, but again, our detectives are trying to figure out what their role is, and right now they're going through, scouring through video to see exactly what those two did. We have now identified our shooter. He's a male Hispanic, 15. His name, Jose Alejandro Rivas Figueroa. Rivas Figueroa, 15 years old. He resides at a temporary shelter in the Stratford Hotel on West 70th Street. He entered our country in September of this year. He is considered armed and dangerous. He's 15 years old. He is in possession of a .40 caliber handgun that he had no problems firing into a crowd of the store, striking a tourist, not shooting at a cops once, shooting at them twice. Our detectives, our fugitive regional task force is currently looking for him as we speak. And I gotta tell you, if one of those bullets hits our cop last night, this is a whole different conversation we're having today. Our cops showed great restraint not to fire their weapon into crowded New Yorkers. And let's be clear, the stance of the city and this police department, we don't care who you are, what your status is. We're not going to broad brush a whole migrant community as being bad people, just like we wouldn't broad brush a whole community, gang members from another borough for a whole borough. But we're not going to put up to this. My concern, our concern, the community's concern is to take this armed juvenile off the streets. He is extremely dangerous. Hopefully, we'll come to a conclusion on this very soon. With that, I'll open up to any questions you might have.
Anthony DiLorenzo, Pix 11.
Chief, can you tell us if he's also his country of origin? And if it is Venezuela too, do you think that this is part of the whole gang problem?
His origin is Venezuelan.
Can you speak to the Venezuelan gangs that are infiltrating the city that the one I talked about last week?
There are some Venezuelan groups of migrants, I say some, not all, that are affecting crime in our city more so now than when they first got here. And we spoke about it last week, the trends in crime. We saw the moped robberies and snatches. We see pockets being picked in Times Square and on the subway. We see some groups going to stores, Macy's, King's Plaza, Glass Hut, and stealing property. So yes, we are seeing it, it's a trend. But I want to be clear here again, all right? We don't care. We don't care who you are, what your status is. Our job is to keep this community safe, and the priority right now for the city and this police department, our federal partners, is to get this young man off the street.
Alejandro, Etienne.
Well, it says to us, we still have some dangerous people throughout our city, and we will deal with that. We will deal with that. Okay, we made those arrests at Times Square you referred to. That's going through the process right now with our DA's office, which he dropped 7 indictments yesterday. There will be consequences for those actions. And here last night, we have don't forget about the female tourist being shot in the leg who's just shopping. You shoot at my cops twice. This will be dealt with.
10-10 wins.
Can you talk about the thought process that officer
Well, his training dictates you got to be prudent when you're going to fire your weapon, and when there's people around, you just can't fire it. You don't want to hurt someone else. So they showed great restraint, and let's be quite frank, with the most restrained police department in the world, and we proved it last night.
All right, Jen Bismarck.
Chief, what can you tell New Yorkers tonight? Is Times Square safe?
Times Square is safe. Take a look around you. Thousands of people shopping, walking around. Times Square is safe. We are still the safest city in the world. And if you see these incidents, our cops are right there where they're supposed to be. We would like to prevent everything from happening, but the second best thing is to be there, effect the rest, and keep this community safe. Yes, Times Square is very safe.
So where he got off the subway?
Miles Miller.
Yeah, so this 15-year-old, so he was in custody last night and was released like this morning. Because he didn't have any role in the shooting?
Well, he was a person of interest. The two other minors are people of interest. We want to get this right. So right now, we're not going to reveal who they are. Our detectives are out there right now putting video together, and we'll find out what their role, if any, took place in this. And I have to remind you, I failed to say this, and I'll reveal it now. Our 15-year-old shooter is also a suspect in an armed robbery, January 27th, in the Bronx, at gunpoint. I can reveal to you now also, he's a suspect in a shots fired job in Midtown North behind me, where 45 caliber shell casings were recovered. Those shell casings will attempt to be matched up to the shell casings from last night and see if it's the same weapon used.
Linda Smith, Fox 5.
I gotta speak, I can't hear you.
The shooting on 45th Street, just for clarification, I have a couple of questions. You're talking about he's connected now to the thing in the Bronx and also another shooting on 45th Street?
Correct. Yep, a shots fired job. A shots fired job in Midtown North by the park. An armed robbery on January 27th in the Bronx. And now this incident last night.
All right, we got time for two more. Right here.
Peter, the last known address, 117 West 70th. I can't quite see it all the way, but is that an apartment building? Is that a shelter? What kind of facility is that?
A Stratford hotel shelter.
All right,
Stratford hotel shelter.
Georgette, last question.
Do we know how they all know each other, and are they from the same country?
Right now we know one is from Venezuela, like I mentioned, and all three of them do go to school together.
All right, everyone. Thank you for your time and attention. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Are there?
We've been listening to NYPD Chief of Patrol John Chell with an update from Times Square on the shooting at the JD Sports store last night. Again, in the Times Square area, police are looking for the man, juvenile, 15-year-old, they believe, is the gunman. They have a $13,500 reward out for his information leading to him and his capture. He also, Chief Chell just said, is a suspect in an armed robbery in the Bronx on January 27th. There you see on your screen just now the picture of this suspect. Police say it began as a robbery on the second floor of the JD Sports store, and then two of the suspects go down to the lobby. A female security person confronts them, takes the bag. One of the suspects fires a shot, misses the security guard, hits a tourist, a 37-year-old woman from Brazil, in the leg. Our understanding is this is not a life-threatening injury. So then the other person, police say, the suspect dressed, two of them, the person in the blue jacket and a person in all white, believed to be the gunman, take off running down the street. They run into two cops who Chief Chell said had heard on the radio what's going on. One person is apprehended. The other person, whom police believe is the shooter, takes off running between buildings. The person allegedly fires a shot, this 15-year-old allegedly firing a shot at the police officer, does not hit the officer. The officer does not fire back, Chief Chell saying, because it was not safe. There were people, too many other people around. They continue on the ground. The suspect, police say, fires another time towards the police officer. The police officer again does not fire back. The suspect heading, there you see in all white, the suspect heading into the subway system, 46th and 6th. MTA video, police say, shows him on the tracks. So a third person, also a 16-year-old, was arrested, and Chief Chell saying they're just trying to figure out everybody's role here. Important, again, the suspect his name is Jose Alejandro Rivas Figueroa, 15 years old, living in a temporary shelter, a hotel. Birthplace Venezuela, a hotel in New York City, entered the United States last September, charged with attempted murder. And Chief Chell said, consider the suspect armed and dangerous, that this gun, a .45 caliber gun. So this is an incredible story coming off of what happened on January 27th, the Saturday, in Times Square, where an officer and a lieutenant were attacked allegedly by a group of people. 7 people have been indicted. So this search continues. A 15-year-old who is considered armed and dangerous. We'll have all the latest for you on television, CBS 2 News at 5 and 6, streaming right here on CBS News New York, beginning at 5 o'clock. I'll see you at 6, and of course, anytime on our website, cbsnewyork.com. I'm Dana Tyler.
This has been breaking news.
It's gray, it looks a little down, but it feels so good. And we're going to get rid of the gray a little bit later today, and it really will be a nice day. That said, we're